Fuck it. Ooh, welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Shafit, along with my good friend, Artemis Brower. Artie,
Yo,
how we feeling, man?
good man. This is the joys of doing live. You know, we get caught off guard sometimes. We're just sitting here having casual conversation, and we're on live for the whole world to see.
I just had my sunglasses on inside, just talking about going to a funeral. I feel like I'm at a funeral every time I watch ECU's offense, but they're just that boring, to be honest. Just that boring.
Predictable, boring, stagnant, whatever you want to say about it. Just nothing good.
Hey, we can't be too critical, Artie. We can't be too negative. Because
that's right. Everything is rainbows and sunshines with ECU's football program. So we got to be positive the entire time.
For sure.
Everything is great.
Yeah. So, Artie, episode number 165. 165. Do you have a 65 for me?
I actually do not have a 65, but tonight is a special circumstance. So I'm going out of order, and I don't care just because we just got the news not too long ago. So instead of 65, I'm going 51. All right, I'm taking it back to 51, and that is in honor of Dick Butkus, one of the all-time great NFL players, definitely one of the all-time great Chicago Bears players, absolute Chicago legend, born and raised in Chicago, all-time great Bears player. My Bears are playing right now. They're up right now. So hopefully, fingers crossed, they actually might get their first dub of the season in what's been a calendar year. But heard about the passing not too long ago, about an hour, 2 hours ago, of Dick Butkus passing along. So definitely want to give him a special shout out. His family, praying for his family, praying for the whole Chicago community. But screw a 65. We're doing 51 tonight. Dick Butkus.
All right, I'll allow it. All right, mine, number 65. Artie, guess what? Hurricanes legend.
Of course, it's a hockey player. Who else are you going to do?
Hey, NHL season starts in less than a week. Let's go. Canes are going to win it all this year. Speaking of which, I'm doing an NHL podcast. I'm starting that up. So,
facts. Go check J-Rod and the rest of the crew.
Yeah. Variety Sports Network, we're doing a hockey podcast. It's called the 5 Hole Podcast. So check it out. We're working through some things. Hopefully coming out with an episode here in the next week or so. But mine is a Hurricanes legend. Played 300 games with the Canes. Artie, did you know this guy? I'll just say the fun stat first. Until last year, this guy had played the most games ever before making the playoffs in the NHL.
I didn't.
He had 904 games played before he made his playoff debut. Wow. Then that record was actually broken. What's that?
It's just a lot of game.
That record was actually broken last year by a guy that was drafted by the Hurricanes, wanted to get out of Carolina. He said he wanted to play for a winner, went to play for Buffalo, who I believe now has maybe the longest playoff drought in all of major sports. Somebody might have to stat check that. But the Buffalo Sabres, I believe, haven't made the playoffs in nearly 20 years. Maybe even longer. I know they were in the 06 playoffs because the Hurricanes beat them in the playoffs to go to to eventually go on to win the Stanley Cup. But my number 65, Ron Hainsey. Ron Hainsey, like I said, played a long career, played 17 years in the league, but 904 games before making the playoffs. He actually got traded at the trade deadline the year that he made the playoffs. He got traded from the Hurricanes to Pittsburgh, made the playoffs that season with Pittsburgh, and won the Stanley Cup that year. So Ron Hainsey, over 1,100 games played, ultimate pro, drafted first round, 13th overall by Montreal. spent time in Montreal, played for the Thrashers in Atlanta, moved up to Winnipeg when that team moved. Then he also played for Columbus, played for Carolina, played for Pittsburgh, Toronto, and then finished his career in Ottawa in the 2019-2020 season. Now he's I believe he's a big-time representative for the NHLPA. So shout out Ron Hainsey. Any thoughts on that? 904 games before making the
that's playoffs. That's a whole career before making.
There's a lot of guys that don't play.
Yeah, that's a lot of games.
In the NHL.
That is a lot of games.
So shout out Ron Hainsey. Wow. All right, Artie. The Variety Sports Podcast Network. The Boneyard Podcast.
You got it,
The Boneyard Podcast is proud to be members of the Variety Sports Podcast Network, Variety Sports Collegiate. Check them out. Lots of great content going on. Baseball postseason's going on. Check it out.
Yes. I'm excited for that first round matchup, baby. Philadelphia and Atlanta. That's going to be Phillies Braves is going to be. I like that one. That's going to be a good matchup.
I do want to say that's bullshit.
That's tough for Atlanta to get in their first draw, though. I will say Philly right out the gates.
So the Braves, who had the best record in all of baseball, if they make it to the World Series, they have home field advantage in the World Series.
Yeah.
Right? They have the second best offense of all time by WRC plus advanced stat guy to the 1927 New York Yankees. Tied the MLB record for most home runs, which honestly they should have the record. Austin Riley had an inside the park home run, but they gave him a triple and home on an error. That's bullshit. They should have had, I believe it's 308 home runs on the season. Basically, if you take the entire Braves offense, it's like having an offense of like just Aaron Judge's and Julio Rodriguez's. Like these guys.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal baseball team. It's
like
a phenomenal club.
This team stacked. Worried about our starting pitching. We've had some starters go down towards the back half of the season, but we'll be all right. But yeah, Variety Sports Podcast Network. Go check them out. Lots of great stuff. Lots of talk about NBA, NFL, also MLB postseason. And then when NHL starts up, your boy's going to be on the mic talking some puck. So, yeah, check us out, Variety Sports Network. Okay, and thanks, Josh. Buffalo is tied with the New York Jets at 12 seasons without the playoffs.
That is insane.
So
that is crazy.
That's
professional organization, and you are literally torturing your fan base. I'm a Bears fan, but damn,
Bears
we've gone that long without a playoff. It's only been a couple years since we made the playoffs, so that's crazy.
Bears, yeah. I mean, he left and said he wanted to play for a contender, and still missed the playoffs.
Yeah,
he's played in the league for 12 years now. So sucks to suck, Jeff Skinner. Maybe he should have stayed in Carolina. He's a good player. I mean, 333 goals, 291 assists. But man, he actually went viral recently with a picture of him and Taylor Swift. I don't know. People were photoshopping Travis Kelce's name on a jersey.
Heard enough about Taylor Swift in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm almost tired of it. All right, Artie, let's talk about this game that happened Saturday. I know you didn't get to watch. No, but we do. This past weekend, I mean, I was excited about the game all day. I was optimistic. I was really ready for ECU to turn a corner. I thought the season was going to really like get started, and we were going to be like, all right, we're 2-3. Like that's not like we're not out of it. We're down, but we're not out.
Right. We still have a shot to redeem our season. At 2-3, you still got a legitimate shot to bounce back and try to make it to a bowl game. Yeah.
Starting 1-4 was like, we can't do that. And at times I was like, oh damn, like this ECU team looks different than it has in the past couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then we got to the red zone and we couldn't do anything other than kick a field goal.
That's honestly the story of the game, though. I mean, it has to be, right? 5 red zone appearances, and you get 1 touchdown out of it, right? You get 2 field goals, 1 touchdown, and the other 2 trips, you didn't get anything. 5 red zone appearances, 1 touchdown. That's got to be the story of the game, because this was honestly, when you look at the stat sheet, because when I looked at this game and I looked at the stat sheet, I had to double check the score. I was like, hold on, how did we lose? Because we really dominated this game.
Yeah, we did.
We held them under 200 total yards of offense. We almost had, almost 400 yards of offense. Like, we literally dominated this game. 25 first downs for ECU. I mean, we played statistically the best offensive game we played all season, and we still lose. So, I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, and when you dominate like that on the field and you still lose, a lot of times you're like, how we didn't execute. And yeah, you could say we didn't execute to some extent, but I mean, there was some questionable play calls in that game.
And it has to come back to that.
Like, it has to. You can't just say, okay, once we get 1st and goal to go, all we're going to do is run the ball up the middle. We're just going to hand it to Rajay or Javius Bond and go for it. Right? I mean, you get 4th and literally a foot, and you can't get into the end zone on a QB sneak. Everybody in the stadium knew you were doing it. All 217 faculty and patrons that were at the game. Everybody. Rice knew. We knew. Everybody knew, okay, we're going to sneak it. Why don't you put in the 6'5" gigantic quarterback who has shown that he can get in on that situation? Why don't you try him out there and let him line up?
Do one of those patented Garcia over the top, right? Like,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. How do you not do that? It's 4th and a foot. I don't know. Artie,
it was the last call I would have made, right? Because I would have absolutely had Garcia out there. It would have been a Garcia over the top. Like, look, go get us half a yard. You are big, you are strong, and our O line, we know what our O line is. It's not that good. O line is not that good.
All you have to do,
go out there and get us half a yard, right? Get it over the top. I don't care if you fumble it. All you gotta do is cross the ball over the line of scrimmage. So go out there and get us half a yard, and just do whatever you got to go do. Or some bootleg, you catch them off guard. You sit on the half yard line, right? So you can do something like a play action or a bootleg where you catch him off guard, roll the tight end out, and he's a Calhoun is out open out in the flats, right? You could have caught them off guard. You could have done something a little smarter than just, everybody knows you about the quarterback sneak this with Flint. Like, everybody knows what you're doing. Everybody in the building, Grandma Patty who sleep up in the 15th row, she know what you're doing. So
yeah, it was honestly between that play call and then the play call where we had a design QB draw on 3rd and 7 late in the 4th quarter, needing a touchdown. And you have a design QB draw with Alex Flynn. Look, Alex Flynn, he's starting to prove himself. Right? Like, is he?
He's QB1.
He's QB1.
Not with confidence, but he's QB1.
But he's gaining that confidence.
Yeah.
Like, every week he's progressed into a better quarterback. But
in that situation,
he's not Mason Garcia. If you're gonna call it, if you're gonna call a QB draw,
if you're going to do that, you got to have Garcia in the game. Yeah, if you're going to make that play call.
But then once you put Garcia in the game, everybody knows what you're doing. QB draw. So
Garcia ain't putting it up in the air. Yeah.
But Artie, for you to say that, hey, maybe we get a little creative with our play calling on 4th and goal, that would take a creative mind up in the booth. Somebody that's not got his fingers in the M&M bowl to call the plays.
But just like you said, everybody knows what we're doing. You get creative there. You catch them off guard. You kick out a tight end. You have him bunched up, and then you kick that tight end out. He's going to be open. I'm telling you, he's going to get open. The Shane Calhoun can get open, and they're all expecting you to run, right? So that is a situation where maybe, okay, like if you're going to have Flynn in, we're going to catch him off guard real quick. We're gonna show run, but then we're going to catch him off guard and throw this in the end zone for a touchdown. So, but I'm not calling plays.
Yeah, I mean that line of somebody heavy up behind him to push him, give him that push over the goal line. I mean, look, Rajay's a stout guy, but he's not pushing somebody over an offensive line and a defensive line. He's not going to be able to do it. You got to bring in a fullback, maybe move Calhoun into the backfield and let him push. You don't need anybody else to block. You're just literally line up under center and jump. All you have to do is fall. And you couldn't get it. I don't know. Artie, we can talk about the stats. I mean, I think the biggest stat that we have listed here, and shout out to the producer, Josh. Donnie's locked in for $420,000 a year through his contract.
Yo, I saw that on the notes and I was like, my goodness.
That's the first bullet on the notes, y'all. We can afford to cut that. Take that right off the top.
Jared, if you want to understand why we're so upset, this man makes $420,000 per year. $420,000 a year. And what is he doing with it? what are we doing? The man makes a lot of money. This is why you can't feel sorry for men like this. He makes a lot of money. He lives very well. All right. Lives very well, very happy. He's very fat and happy. Okay.
Artie, what if I told you before today, Mike Houston made more money than UCF's head coach Gus Malzahn? You know, a national championship winning coach.
You pay good money for results. That's all I'll say. You pay good money for good results.
I mean, look, ECU's got to figure it out. And this year, like I get it. We'll call it if we want to call this year a rebuilding year, okay. But you better figure this shit out early next season. I'm not ready to throw in the towel. I'm not going to throw in the towel until.
But even this team with the roster turnover that we have and the guys that we lost, this team still should have been good enough to go 6-6. I called 6-6. I was like, this team is going to be a 6-6 ball club. But we don't even look that. We don't even look 6-6. And that at this point in Mike Houston's tenure with this program, this is your culture, your recruits, your team, your mentality. At this point, 6-6 is like, that's a minimum, bro. That's as bad as it gets at this point in your tenure.
The goal now,
that's as bad as it gets is 6-6.
Every coach sets out a goal at the beginning of the season. And when Mike Houston got here, the goal was, okay, let's instill a culture. Like, we may not be a bowl eligible team the first couple of years, but we're going to have culture.
Right.
And he did that. In a large part due to whole Nailers and that whole senior group from last year that kind of stayed and saw it through, right? He did that. He accomplished that goal. Then it was, okay, let's make a bowl game. We did that 2 years in a row.
Right.
After that, your goal changes. It's
And
not just to make a bowl game. Your goal changes to, we want to play in the conference championship. We want to be conference champions. We want to be ranked in the top 25. That should be your goal. Not just, we want to go play in the Gasparilla Bowl.
Been there, done that. And nobody's impressed by that anymore.
No.
So we want and expect more, especially at this point in your tenure, right? And yeah, I just
yeah.
I have no words. I could say a lot, but where we're at right now, the good coaches, even when they lose a lot, right? Even when they have a lot of roster turnover, they're still able to stay consistent because they've already set in stone, like you said, a culture, a program, a systematic plan, like set up. Like the good coaches can still plug and play what they need. And we didn't hit on the transfer portal like we thought we did, right? Like there's a lot of guys we got in the transfer portal that are not hitting the way we thought they were going to hit. And that leads back to coaching too. But at this point in the program, in my honest opinion, 6-6 is as bad as it should ever get under Mike Houston. We cannot be 3-9, 4-8 kind of that can't be where we are in year 5. That can't be what it is. I don't care what the roster turnover is. Like making a bowl game and getting 6-6 is the lowest expectations that we should have. The absolute lowest at this point.
Don't love to see that, Josh. 4th highest paid coach in the American Athletic Conference. $500,000 less than Willie Fritz, the guy that has Tulane.
Beating USC in the Cotton Bowl.
At Tulane. Like Tulane. Nobody gave a shit about Tulane until last year.
Nobody goes to New Orleans to go to Tulane? Come on now.
Show me the gumbo. No. Oh, Artie. Good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to spend too much more time on this game. I've watched it. It's the bye week. I got a 3-day weekend coming up. 2-day work week next week.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, those Thursday night games with a 3-hour drive, I got to take off 2 days with getting as old as I am. The good defense looks solid yet again. I mean,
we just beat a dead horse at this point. Same damn story every week. Defense looks good.
Defense looks good.
Defense looks good.
I do want to give a shout out, Artie, to somebody on the offense. Kind of everybody knows Rajay's going to be there, right? But when everything else is dark, the things that I've seen from Chase Sowell,
yeah,
that guy
can ball.
He's wide receiver 1. Dude can ball.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to go up and get that 2-point conversion, guy's got hops. I'm liking what I see from him, and I'm hoping with him and Javius Bond, hopefully they can figure it out at quarterback next year. I mean, you got to go after a quarterback in the transfer portal. I think. I mean, I just think you have to find somebody that has experience, big time experience in the transfer portal.
Can we talk about this for a second though? Now that it's kind of just all out in the open, and we're a quarter of the way into the season, more than a quarter of the way into the season.
We'll be halfway next week.
Right, like we're damn near halfway into the season.
A week from tonight, we'll be halfway through the season.
Crazy. We just started this and we're almost halfway through the season. But
at this point, it can't end fast enough, Artie.
Mason Garcia, though, you're talking about the highest rated recruit in the history of this program. And he's a guy that sat the bench and we thought, okay, he's getting nurtured and matured. And he's about to come out and just He's going. He may not be setting records, but he's going to ball. He's going to do his thing. How disappointing is this? Like I as an ECU fan, I'm like, yo, this is like, I'm sad. This is so sad. Like I was expecting such good things from Mason, and now we're here. We have Flynn as our starting quarterback. We have Mason kind of just in the backdrop, coming in as a whatever, just to come in and run the football as an extra running back. I'm sad. Like this makes me extremely sad. The development of Mason Garcia. This has to be one of the worst jobs in the history ever. And it's not just on the coaching either. It's probably on Mason too, because he hasn't done what he's needed to do to get better.
What we're not going to do, I saw this kind of floating around on social media earlier this week. What we're not going to do is put the development of Mason Garcia and Alex Flynn on the previous guy, Holton Ahlers. I saw people talking about that. People were like, maybe Holton should have stepped aside and let Mason. You cannot put that on Holton Ahlers. I saw that tweet like I said, floating around out there. That's bullshit.
No, look, Holton's there to be QB1, man. He's not there to coddle and hold the hands of the guys behind him. The coaching staff is responsible for that. The coaching staff is responsible for getting those guys ready, especially a Mason Garcia, ready for the next jump. Like, you about to come in and be next after Holton. That's not Holton's responsibility, his job. It's his responsibility to be an excellent teammate and to share some knowledge that he has and that camaraderie. But it's not his job to be a mentor and a teacher. And he's a college student. He's trying to be QB1. That's not his job.
Artie, what if I told you? I'm going to tell you something right now. Mason Garcia in his recruiting class in the QB rankings was three spots behind Anthony Richardson.
Like, do you know how sad Anthony Richardson is starting in my fantasy this week? Like, this man is starting in my fantasy. He is balling out. Do you know how sad I am to know that Mason Garcia, like, I'm just sad. I'm not even angry. I'm not pissed off. I'm just sad.
Maybe disappointed. Artie, ECU has to find a transfer quarterback. You've got to find a transfer quarterback. And
oh my goodness.
Worst comes to, like, if you find a transfer quarterback, it adds more to the competition.
Yeah.
And it adds more to those reps that you get in the spring and that you get in the fall. Adds more pressure. I think everybody thought, and we were right, that, hey, okay, Mason Garcia is wide receiver 1 to start the season. He was at Michigan. He was against Marshall. But he's not wide receiver 1. Who knows? Maybe he comes out and he balls and figures something out. The pressure, he figures out how to perform under pressure. I don't know. If ECU gets to the point where, hey, we're out, they should just play one for a half and then one for the other half and let them get their reps. That's all I'm going to say. Like, and if they transfer out, if he transfers out, where the hell is he going? Who's taking him after the game film that he has right now?
You talking about Mason?
Yeah.
No, this is like he's not going. He's probably not going D1. He's gonna have to take a step down and go to like an FCS or something like that. He's not going to be able to go to the D1 school.
Our luck is he'd go somewhere else and ball the fuck out.
Now, if he did go to the D1 school, he's not going to be a guaranteed starter. Like, they're going to bring him and say, yeah, you're going to be behind this guy.
I could see the Gardner Minshew effect happening there.
But my goodness, man, just that long sitting. You have that much talent sitting on the bench, and you did not do your job to nurture that and grow that the right way. I'm just sad.
Yeah. Anything else that I had in good? Played a cleaner game for the first time all season. Had fewer penalties than the opponent. That's good. controlled time of possession, but when you do that, you expect a win, and ECU did not. So that was my good. Anything else to add on good? I was picking at the scraps, Artie, for the good.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, I guess you could technically say we outplayed Rice.
We did.
We outplayed Rice in a loss.
We should have won that game.
I guess you could put that in the good.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda. If ands and buts were nuts, we'd all have a holly jolly Christmas, something like that. All
Jared is tired, folks. Jared is tired.
Bad, no halftime adjustments. Same thing. I feel like we've been saying this for years now. It used to be on the defense. Now the defense makes halftime adjustments, but the offense doesn't. Once again, Donnie's got his hands in the M&M jar. So that's the only thing I have that's bad. I have quite a few for ugly.
Let's get into the ugly.
Ugly. ECU is tied for 6th worst longest average needed on third down distance.
Wow.
In the country.
Wow.
Currently, we average 3rd and 8, and basically 8.5.
3rd and 8. That's what we're averaging. We're averaging 3rd and 8, which lets you know right there that on 1st and 2nd down,
we can't do shit.
We are getting nothing. We are way too predictable. The defense is so happy. Like, oh my God, this is what they're running? Easy money. Okay.
Artie, let me ask you.
8 is what we're averaging?
What do you think is easier to read? An ECU offense or a UNC textbook?
Hey, look, if I'm a UNC athlete, I'm definitely happy with my curriculum. That's all I'll say. I'm very happy with my curriculum.
That's terrible. It's terrible.
You're averaging 3rd and 8. We only picking up 2 yards in 2 downs. Come on.
What are you doing? I mean, I could sleepwalk 2 yards. Red zone offense needs to be discussed big time. Like I said earlier, it seemed like the Pirates could march down the field, but once you got in the red zone, it seemed like they became even more predictable. Mm. Hey, we're just going to try to bash it in. You're not going to be able to just bash it in with a terrible offensive line. You're just not going to be able to.
Yeah.
And third, should have happened Monday. Fire Donnie Kirkpatrick. At the end of the day, it all comes back to him. All comes back to him.
And at this point, if we're way too stubborn to change and to realize that the offense needs to change, then get rid of everybody.
If
Mike stubborn and we don't want to make a move, go ahead and get rid of everybody.
If Mike Houston doesn't fire Donnie Kirkpatrick at the end of the season, that tells me everything I need to know about this coaching staff. Look, we are boys with Blake Harrell. We'll forever be boys with Blake Harrell. Love that guy. He's the only one that honestly needs to stay.
Well, I still believe in Houston too. I still want to hold hope out on Houston too. I do, I still think he can maybe turn it around. Right?
That's fleeting quickly on my side.
Because I want
very quickly.
But he's got to show us though. He's got to be the loyalty to. Are you loyal to this program or are you loyal to your guys? Right, and I know that's a tough decision to make, and I know you've been with Kirkpatrick for a long time, right? Lenore Ryan and JMU and all these places, like I get it, but are you loyal to this program or are you loyal to you guys? Because if you're loyal to you guys, then you're telling me, okay, well then ECU is going to be what it is because I'm loyal to my guys. You can kick rocks because we need somebody loyal to this program. So
Maybe I should text Shane Carden and see if he's down to take over.
How's he doing, by the way? I wonder how he's doing coaching high school football. I got to look into that. I got to see how his high school program is doing.
All right. Artie, when the times get rough at ECU, look, we stay ECU fans through thick and thin. I will forever ride or die with the Pirates. But do you ever just wish, like, man, I was a fan of a different team?
There's a couple programs I like. There's there's the obvious, my diehard, but I won't even talk about them because that's the obvious. There's a couple other ones, and I'm like, damn, I would love to be a fan of them.
Who do you wish that you were a fan of?
Outside of ECU and Michigan, there's only two other programs where I'm like
Middle Tennessee State.
You said what?
Middle Tennessee State?
No, I was gonna say Kennesaw State. No, there's only two other programs, and they both were orange. That I've like, even as a kid, I'm like, I really mess with these. I can't root against these programs. I can't root against them. I can root against.
Can I take a guess? Can I take a guess?
Go ahead. I told you these two before. You know.
I'm gonna guess Clemson.
No, hell no, not Clemson. No.
Auburn.
Come on, Jared.
Florida.
Tennessee.
Okay, Tennessee. That should have been an obvious. That's on me.
And Texas. Come on now. Look them. I love when Texas football is good. I don't know. I love when Texas is good. When Texas is good, college football feels better. I love that they're top five right now. I love it. And I hope they beat the brakes off Oklahoma this weekend. I love when Texas is good. I like that program. I really do. Vince Young, growing up, was one of my favorite players to watch growing up. I love Mac Brown. Always liked Mac Brown. Even though he's with Carolina right now, I'm still a Mac Brown fan. And then Tennessee, like that was one of the schools I wanted to go to low key. Good old Rocky Top. So
I'm gonna take a different angle on it, Artie. You picked some blue bloods, right? Like I'm probably gonna.
Yeah, I'm not picking no damn G5s.
I'm not picking a G5.
For one G5, brother. That's East Carolina University. Fuck the rest of them.
I'm not picking a G5. But I also, Artie, as a Braves fan, as a Hurricanes fan, as a Falcons fan, as an ECU fan, I know what it's like to be at the top, but I also know what it's like to be at the bottom. And it's something about the ride that once you get once you get to the top, even though you've been at the bottom, it just feels better, right? Yeah. Like I'm not gonna pick like an Alabama or a Clemson or an Oklahoma, Ohio State, like a Georgia. I feel like those teams, everybody expects them to be at the top. And the two teams that I feel like would be fun to be a fan of. These are gonna be kind of off the wall. Do you want to take a guess at mine? Like they've had success and they've been at the top.
Give me the region of the country that they're in.
I mean, they're east of the Mississippi.
They're not ACC. You don't root for no ACC schools.
No.
East of the Mississippi. Ole Miss? Is Ole Miss east of the Mississippi? No.
They could be in the Mississippi for all I care.
No, I don't know.
I'm gonna go. I would say you talked about wanting to go to Tennessee. I wanted to go to South Carolina.
Okay.
That
makes sense. That makes sense.
I feel like I would have thrived at South Carolina.
Yeah, you
Cola.
Would have. Yeah.
The other one, kind of off the wall. Maybe not. I feel like West Virginia University would be.
That's another good one. Okay.
That's basically the P5 ECU.
That's another West Virginia WVU would have been a good time. That would have been a good time.
Plus, you have some good rivalries. You have the party school. Look, West Virginia is literally the ECU of the Power Five.
They are.
Same academics, same party vibe.
Yeah.
That I would say, I don't know. I feel like that would be fun. And then when they're good, really good. And when they're bad, they're like ECU, they're really bad. And like I said, I like the roller coaster.
When they're good and that stadium is packed, that's one of the best venues in the country. When West Virginia is good and they are sold out and filled out and everybody's lubricated up, that's one of the best venues probably to catch football.
Lubricated up. Let's get lubricated.
Hey, look, you know what I mean by lubricated.
Jesus Christ. Artie, this is a kid's show.
No, it's not.
It's a family show. What rivalry do you wish you were a part of?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I wish. Damn.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
I don't want to go chalk here. I'm trying to think of another like rivalry.
Yeah, I don't want to go chalk, but I'm trying to think of like one where they hate each other. Maybe like an Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
The Egg Bowl. Yeah, that's straight.
I
was thinking Backyard Brawl, WVU Pitt. That's a low key good one.
Yeah.
When they're good.
I mean, I would like to be on. It's kind of chalk. The really kind of the SEC East. I feel like that's the SEC is. I feel like every game's a rivalry game.
Yeah.
But like, there's some that just kind of stand out, like Tennessee, Alabama,
LSU,
Georgia, Tennessee, LSU, Alabama. Honestly, Artie, I think one of the most overrated rivalries, at least in recent history, is the Iron Bowl.
You think so?
In the last 5 years, yeah.
The last 5 years. Now, growing up, the Iron Bowl, my goodness,
well, yeah,
those games were classics.
But like some of like the recent ones, Auburn's been down, Alabama's been what they are.
Right.
Yeah.
I will say one that is chalk that I wouldn't mind just attending just because of Blue Bloods, history, the fanfare.
I think I know where this is going.
USC Notre Dame.
Okay, that's not where I thought you were going.
Yeah, I would honestly love to attend a USC Notre Dame game before I die.
You know,
where do you think I was going?
I thought you were going to go Red River Rivalry.
Oh, Texas, Oklahoma? Nah, yeah, that one's too main. That was way too. And that's happening this weekend. We'll talk about that later. But
another one, and Artie, this one's for you. Michigan, Ohio State just feels like there's always bad blood.
We hate each other,
right? But like, I love that. Like,
we hate each other. It's not even about like. We don't even respect each other. We don't respect each other. And that's real hate. That's real rivalry. Like, I won't even respect you, dog. Like, nah. And the fact that Michigan is finally good again, it just makes that rivalry so much better. Because Ohio State was kicking our ass for 20 years. So the fact that Michigan is actually good really makes that the best rivalry in college football right
now. Yeah, for sure. And then lastly, this is kind of our bye week since we're not previewing a team. We're just kind of previewing bye week. Artie, what team do you want to see succeed outside of ECU and not Michigan?
I was just about to say, there's only one team I want to see succeed outside of ECU.
Ohio State. I'm kidding.
what team I want to see succeed outside of ECU and Michigan. I'm gonna say Texas. I would like to see Texas win a natty. I wouldn't mind seeing Texas win a natty.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go probably. I'm gonna go back to one of the schools that I said earlier. I would love to see like West Virginia back on top, like back in the top 15.
Yeah.
Just like you said, when they're good, that is one of the most raucous environments in all of college football. Another team, and it's not so much that I want them to succeed, but when they're good, like it just the environments that they get. And I'll follow this up with probably one of my worst takes, but it's something that I'll stand on. I mean, Virginia Tech. I like when like they're.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Like,
hey, look, man, Enter Sandman is one of the coolest things, and that's cool as shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's awesome.
Like, I think it's cool as shit, but I also think that I think can it be cool as shit, but also overrated at the same time?
I mean, I guess it can, but only because the media is overhyped. It's not anything Virginia Tech.
That's what like everybody. Anytime you see a video of Virginia Tech, it's always that like one clip where, and they have one of the most beautiful stadiums that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That
beautiful campus.
I mean, yeah, the campus, just like all that stonework. Yeah, hate Virginia Tech, but I'd love to get them back on the schedule. All right, Artie.
Yeah.
Basketball. Let's talk some hoops. Season's coming up. Starts a month from tomorrow.
We close, baby. Basketball just creeps up on you. It just really creeps on you.
Yeah, it just kind of hits you out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like football season's usually still going on, and then you go into basketball season, and you're usually still hyped about football, and then okay, it's basketball. We're gonna get into that, but this year I feel like we're gonna be into basketball a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, you start the season was 11 of 13 non-conference games at home. So one of which, I mean, South Carolina comes into Greenville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
The Gamecocks come in to Greenville, come into Minges.
Yeah.
On December 9th. And then you go you have a neutral site game against Florida. In Florida.
Florida. That's back-to-back games.
Back-to-back games. I mean, I'm excited about ECU basketball. There's a lot to be excited about with them.
I like their non-conference slate too. Like we have a legitimate chance. Like really open up 10-3, 11-2. Like we have a really strong chance before we get into conference play. And it's fitting that our very first conference opponent is going to be a team that played in the Final Four last year. So that's fitting. And
that's on the road.
Yeah, in Boca Raton. But we have a very, very good chance of going into that matchup with FAU with a solid record. So I'm very, very excited about ECU basketball.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, this is a young team already. You got 5 freshmen, 4 sophomores, 5 juniors, redshirt junior, and a senior on the team. Yeah. Still waiting word on Cam Hayes. I saw Tez Walker got his eligibility today. Would love for them to come through on Cam Hayes. Bobby Pettiford from Kansas comes in, transfers in. This team, Mike Schwartz is building something here. We saw what Kim McNeil did last year. Mike Schwartz is he's figuring it out, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like this year could be different. I mean, I'm not saying we're gonna make the big dance, but this year could definitely be different on the hard court.
I definitely think it can be a lot different this year, and I think this is like the year where you start to see it turning. Like, it's not going to be all the way turned this year, but you're going to start to see the wheels rolling this year. I think Schwartz and company, he's got a really good staff. I think we start to see the wheels turning. So this sounds familiar. Hey, I'm not promising good results. I'm just saying we're going to start to see the wheels turning. That's it. That's all. All right. And I definitely think he's better than Leo. All right. So.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Dooley had his moments, but.
Dooley had his moments, but I don't. Dooley was never going to take us to the promised land. I definitely think Schwartz is actually somebody who can not take us to the promised land, but I'm not going that far. This is still ECU basketball, right? This is still a program that has done nothing with nothing. So it's baby steps. I get it. We're taking baby steps, but I think you start to see the wheels turn a little bit this year.
Yeah, I mean, bring back RJ Felton. Ezra Azar is also coming back. I mean, those are two guys that kind of started to really put something together last year, plus the talent that Schwartz brought in the transfer portal, plus the young guys that are coming in. There's a lot of good on this team. I'm excited. This is probably the most excited I've been about basketball since 2014, 2013, really, after what was that tournament called? It's changed names now. The CIT now is it now it's something else. Is it still CIT?
Man, I don't know. I don't know. Outside of the NIT, does it really matter? I mean, NCAA NIT, after that, it don't matter. So,
yeah, I'm excited about it. And of course, women's basketball. Let me pull up their schedule here. I don't have it in front of me.
Conference champions back in the building, baby.
Kim McNeil has this team like going. Honestly, not a bad schedule for them as well. I mean, you play VCU, you got Ohio State. South Carolina also comes into Greenville, North Carolina. It comes into Greenville to take on the Lady Bucks, the Pirates. Before you open up conference, I mean, South Carolina is a perennial top 10 team. So excited about that.
They're more than perennial top 10, Jerry. You got to get a little more than that. Like, they are perennial 1 or 2.
Okay, Artie.
You got to give South Carolina a little more respect. Don Staley done built a dynasty down there in South Carolina. You got to get a little more respect than that.
Artie, overall, can they do it again?
Win the conference again?
Yeah,
absolutely. Because last year was supposed to be a rebuild. Last year they were supposed to finish last in the conference, right?
They picked us last.
They were not only a year ahead, they were about a couple of years ahead for last year. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they can run that. They can run that back.
Mm-hmm. Maya Joyner said she'd come on the podcast. Maybe we should get that in the next week or so.
Let's do it. We'd love to have her on.
We'll make that happen. Maya Joyner will come on the podcast. Already anything else on basketball? Like we can talk hoops, but
yeah, we'll touch on it later. We still got a month out, so we'll definitely get to it later. But I'm excited
for sure. And then all right, walk the plank. Do you have a walk the plank this week?
Ooh, I don't think I have a walk the plank. No.
Donnie Kirkpatrick's play calling.
You said what?
Donnie Kirkpatrick's play calling.
Donnie Kirkpatrick's play calling. I could say Matt Eberflus play calling. My walk to plank is consistent until they show me something different. So the Bears and the Pirates can walk to that plank.
Mine. I'm just gonna say, like, Artie, I don't know if you watched. Probably not. You were at a wedding this past weekend. The Ryder Cup coverage was absolute dog shit.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
They'd cut away and it'd be pivotal moments, and yeah, it wasn't close really until the final day. Mm-hmm. But still, like, they would be showing shots that like nobody cared about, but then like you miss the shots that people cared about. I don't know. Figure it out. Like you got it. That's one of the premier like golf events. Only happens every 2 years. Figure that out.
Where is the Ryder Cup, by the way? Where's that? Where's that happen?
Last weekend it was in Rome. In 2 years it'll be at Bethpage Black up in
They switch it up every 2 years.
Yeah. Next time it'll be in America. Then the following after that, I believe it'll be in Paris.
Gotcha.
Or maybe it was just in Paris. I'd have to go back and look. But the next one's at Bethpage Black at which is in Long Island, New York, Nassau County. That's gonna be insane. It's kind of like the Waste Management where everybody's cheering and everybody's talking shit, and there was some Rory McIlroy was cussing out a Tiger's old caddy, Joe LaCava, for waving his hat too long on the green. Like all kinds of shit. I mean, people making fun of Justin Thomas's hairline. Like,
look, I'm gonna tell you, man, we gotta get to one of these major golf events. I need to go to one of these events with the boys, especially Waste Management. I think that would be a lot of fun to go with the boys. But we got to get to one of these major golfing events.
Hey, U.S. Open next year in Pinehurst.
And I know we were talking about it a few months ago. So, but we got to get to one of these.
Tickets
that's a very
expensive
thing to do. It is expensive, but now we getting up there in age a little bit. Now when we get together with the boys, we got to start doing things like this. So,
all right, Artie. Anything else? Oh, let's do gambling corner and then let's get the hell out of here.
Let's do it. All
right, we're gonna start. I'm gonna start with this one. Maryland at Ohio State. Ohio State's a 20-point favorite. The over/under is 57. Is Talia really good? Is Ohio State that much better? Lots of questions about the Big Ten will be answered after this game. Is the Maryland team built to last? I'll be honest. I haven't watched much Big Ten football this year. Outside of ECU versus Michigan, I haven't watched really any Big Ten football.
Well, Maryland is undefeated. They're 5-0. Talia Tagovailoa, he's the younger brother of Tua, and he's really, really good. He's going to get drafted. Maybe not after this year, but maybe the next. And this will be Ohio State's toughest test to date. Now, are they going to lose? I don't think so, because I have seen a little bit of Maryland, and their defense is a little suspect. The offense can score, but as far as keeping up with Ohio State, I think they can scare Ohio State, but I don't think they beat Ohio State.
They cover?
I think Maryland covers. Yeah.
You know what, Artie? Since I don't know anything about Maryland, I'm just going to follow your lead. Maryland covers.
I think Maryland covers. Ohio State wins.
Awesome. All right, let's go. Syracuse at UNC. Carolina's a 5-point or 9.5-point favorite. I don't know where that 5 points came from. Over under 59.5. I think UNC is the real deal. I've tried to.
And they get to
yeah. I mean, granted, I don't know how ready he's gonna be. I don't know what the rules are against. Can he practice?
He can play immediately. They said.
But
he can.
Has he been practicing with the ones?
Yeah, probably not.
So that's the only question I have there. But I'm gonna take UNC. And I'm gonna take them to cover.
Yeah, same. Is Syracuse still undefeated, or did they lose last week? They played Clemson, right?
I believe so. And then I believe
okay, yeah, they lost. Okay. I thought they did. So they're sitting 4-1, something like 3-1, 4-1, something like that. So take Carolina. This is a good Syracuse team. I forget this is Dino Favors. Dino Favors. I forget their head coach, but he's a good head coach. Syracuse is going to play Carolina tough, but take Carolina.
All right, we're gonna go Oklahoma and Texas, the Red River rivalry. Huge future SEC West matchup. Texas is a 5-point favorite, and the over/under is 60.5. Last year, was last year the year that Texas just mollywopped Oklahoma 48-0?
They beat them boys 49-0. It was disrespectful. It was absolutely disrespectful. They beat them 49-0. And to be honest with you, this Texas football team is better than last year's. So there's that. But Oklahoma's better too.
Texas wins. Oklahoma covers. This is gonna be a good game.
I agree. I think it's gonna be the best game of the weekend. And I hate this at noon. I wish they would play this game at like.
I don't think this is gonna be the best game of the week, though.
You don't think so? I think it might be the best game. I think Oklahoma's gonna play inspired. They're pissed off. They know they lost last year 49-0. They're gonna give Texas everything they got. But like I said, this Texas team is way better than last year. Even though Oklahoma's improved, Texas is way better. Oklahoma covers, Texas wins. But go ahead.
I think that this game is going to be the game that, yes, probably has the most overall skill. We were talking to top 15 teams in the country.
Yeah.
I think that there's going to be a lot of this is a big time game, right? I do think that overall I don't think it's going to be the most entertaining game of the weekend. That's what I'm saying. I think there's another game, and it's actually on our list that I think is going to be more entertaining than this one. So we're both taking Oklahoma
to cover.
Texas to win. Texas money line.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Okay. Let's go up to Raleigh. Marshall at NC State. State's a 6.5-point favorite. Over/under is 44.5. Cam Fancher still kind of leading the way at Marshall. Marshall's undefeated.
Yeah.
Serious New Year's Six Bowl implications on the line this weekend for Marshall. Right? They go undefeated. They're probably playing in the New Year's Six Bowl. Granted, you have to have Fresno State drop one, but I'm not 100% sold on Fresno State currently.
Fresno's good.
They're good, but I think Marshall's better.
They've been consistent the last few years too.
I just think Marshall's better.
I want Marshall to succeed as well. That's the team I want to see succeed.
I do too. And here's my upset of the weekend. Marshall beats NC State at Carter Finley.
I don't even think that's an upset, to be honest with you. I won't even think. Personally, I don't really consider that an upset. Just because this NC State team don't feel like the team that, every year pundits come out and be like, "Oh, NC State, watch out for NC State. They might win the ACC." No, they're not. They're not going to win the damn ACC. All right, they're gonna go 8-4 and make the bowl game that they make, and that's North Carolina State. All right, let's.
They have just as good a shot of winning the ACC championship as we do.
All right, let's calm down. But I still think it will be a good game. But I don't think Marshall beating NC State, even in Carter Finley, is an upset. Not in my opinion.
I've seen people listing it as their upset of the week, and I'm gonna do the same.
I got you.
So yeah, I have Marshall.
State's not ranked.
Still, I still think that it's
only an upset if you beat a ranked team. I don't want to hear that upset of the week.
Well, tell that to App State when they rush the field against an 0-3 ECU team.
Yeah, I'm not trying to hear upset against an unranked opponent.
So are you taking Marshall?
Yeah, I think Marshall wins.
Are we really doing this? Are we going same all week?
You know what? Since you don't want to go same, I'll take NC State.
No, I don't. I want you to pick Marshall. I want you to pick Marshall because fuck them guys.
I really do think Marshall wins. I think Marshall.
I think Marshall wins too. Then
I think Marshall wins. I think they're
go with what you say. Go with what you feel.
I think they're a better football team. I think Marshall wins.
Okay. Marshall wins. All right. Artie, this is the game that I think is going to be the most entertaining game of the week.
Yeah.
Alabama at Texas A&M.
Kyle Field, baby.
Kyle Field.
Strong.
The 12th man. Alabama comes in as a 1-point favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could get an instant classic this weekend with two teams that really don't like each other. I mean, we talked earlier, SEC, basically everybody's a rival.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a game that could go to overtime, maybe multiple overtimes, and it's going to be a fun watch.
I'll say this. A&M, since joining the SEC, has really given Alabama some headaches.
Exactly.
They've really given Alabama some headaches, whether it's in Tuscaloosa or, Kyle Field. So I do want to say I think this could be the best game of the weekend. And this ain't the A&M from last year either. This A&M team is good. This is a good A&M team.
This isn't the A&M that App State beat.
Right. This is a legitimate A&M team. I think Jimbo Fisher got these boys right. Got these freshman recruits that came in last year. They got a year under their belt and they're playing a lot better this year. I can't go against Granddaddy Nick Saban. I can't go against them. I can't go against Alabama. I still think Alabama wins this game. I think this. I agree with you that this could be an instant classic, but Alabama's going to be the victor.
Okay. Not so fast, my friend. The Aggies roll over the Tide. Texas A&M.
Okay. I would honestly like to see that because I'm gonna be honest, and this just for bragging rights. I got a whole soon-to-be in-law side that is straight Alabama. They're from the state of Alabama. They went to the University of Alabama, and really, I just get a kick out of kicking them when they're down. I just love it. So I would love to see Alabama lose this weekend.
If Alabama loses this weekend, is the dynasty officially over?
I think the dynasty was kind of over last year with Kirby Smart and Georgia winning 2 straight. Georgia's the class of the SEC, not Alabama. But if they lose to A&M and get to 2 losses before we reach, or
the halfway point of the
season, yeah, the dynasty's over. It's over.
Because the Clemson dynasty has fallen.
I mean, that wasn't even really like a dynasty. That was just like a little mini, like nice little run. It was a nice little run. Two chips don't make you a dynasty. You got to get 3 or more. 2 chips don't make you a dynasty.
Speaking of that, like
2 chips is a nice run.
Do you consider
nice, maybe even historic run, but that don't make you no dynasty.
But three championships in how short a time?
It's got to be 3 to me. It's got to be 3 championships within 5 years.
That's just tough. That's tough to do in college football, college sports in general.
Did it. And that's why he built a dynasty. You can't just be throwing out dynasty like that. That's why dynasty is so hard to achieve.
Well, so let me ask. So, do you feel the same way about professional sports? Is it 3 and 5?
Yeah, I think 3 out of 5 gets you.
I think everybody agrees that a dynasty is 3.
Yeah, and you have to win that 3 within a certain amount of time, though. You can't be like 3 in 10 years. That you're not
right.
Like it's got to be.
But like if you did 3 and 6, so you're winning every other year with largely the same team.
Even 3 and 6, I would still. That's borderline because you're still probably at the top of your at the top of the sport. But to me, 3 and 5, you're getting 3 out of 5. To me, that's a dynasty. You're chuckling. What's going on?
Watch what you say.
Yo.
Oh shit! I'm just now seeing his messages. I didn't look
What's up, Jared? How you doing?
What did you want to say, Kyle?
I wanted to tell Artie that I'm enjoying watching the Bears finally win a game, and I think that your followers should really, enjoy this moment because it's been what, over a year now at this point to see a close to victory. So, I just wanted Artie to really make sure he was basking in this while it's on.
Jesus Christ.
Did you just hang up on Cal?
Thought he was going to have something to add to the conversation we were just having. All right, Artie, let's get the hell out of here. I'm ready. I'm ready to go to bed.
I do need to finish watching the rest of this game where my Bears are kicking ass right now. So
I mean,
albeit it is a Washington Commanders, but let me have my moment. Damn it.
Do what you need to do. So did Florida have a dynasty?
Florida football?
Yeah.
They only won 2. They didn't win 3.
Josh, you look like you. Do you want to hop in, Josh? No. Josh says he's not going to hop in. All right. Oh, there he is, Josh.
I've got to say, Florida had a dynasty. And I'd say Florida had a dynasty because listen, here's the thing. Just because Alabama got good right at the end and Florida just couldn't answer, that's the only reason why they didn't get a third.
But I mean, that's that's a Florida problem. It's not an Alabama problem. That's a Florida problem.
But you got to think, Florida, the football team is what sparked everything else in Florida to go off the way it did. I mean, the basketball team wouldn't have been great.
I will give you this from what 2006 to 2009. Florida was like the capital of college sports. Basketball was winning natties, football winning natties. Like Florida was definitely they were the it university for about 3 to 4 years.
A dynasty school. That's all it was.
I forgot about that Florida basketball team. They was winning natties too at the same time the football team was. So I guess combined, because they had 4 championships in like 2 or 3 years between football and basketball. So I guess combined, the whole University of Florida was a little mini dynasty right there.
I'll give it to him. Like you can talk about sports and schools as a whole. When you're talking college sports, you can say that this university has a dynasty over college sports, right? I mean, you can't. So I'll agree with that. I'll let that slide. All right. Before we close it out, I did remember one walk the plank that I don't know if you could say it's a walk the plank, but I got one. Devontae Freeman. Have you seen the shit he's been talking about on social media?
No, I have not. That's the former Falcons running back, right?
Yeah. And he's like, he's saying he wants back in the league. He wants to come back.
That boy been gone for a minute.
But Devontae Freeman was like, tell me y'all want me to talk about that Super Bowl game. And basically, there's a conspiracy. He liked a couple tweets about Kyle Shanahan, who gave up on the run game and passed the ball in that Super Bowl.
Oh, God. I think I know where this is going.
Saying that he threw the Super Bowl so that he could get Jimmy Garoppolo.
Come on, man.
Falcons are the
nobody's throwing a Super Bowl. Nobody is throwing a Super Bowl, Jared.
I would show this on the screen, but I can't show what's.
Nobody is throwing a. Come on, man. Unless they throwing $200 million your way, ain't nobody throwing no damn Super Bowl.
I don't know. Out of the major championships to win, it's still not. To me, it's the number 3.
Nobody. Look, let's call it what it is. All right, that was one of the greatest choke jobs in history. All right, and I know Atlanta's hurt, and I know they wanted conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. No, y'all choked, man. Y'all choked. That's what happened. Let's accept it. It was a long time. It happened years ago at this point. Let's accept it and move on.
All right. Make sure you check out Variety Sports Podcast Network. Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator, not the head coach. Kyle.
Right.
Variety Sports Podcast Network. Check them out. Look out for the 5-Hole Podcast, future NHL podcast, credentialed by the NHL, that your boy's going to be running soon. So check it out. Follow us if you want Canes content or trying to get in the NHL, trying to get into hockey. A lot of people in the state are. Check us out. Give us a listen. Also, make sure you follow us on social media at Boneyard Podcast everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Subscribe right now. Subscribe on YouTube. Yeah, that's all I got. Artie, let's get the hell out of here. I'm tired.
Let's do it. Another good episode. Loved it. Had a little special appearance by Cal Mandick. So I'll shout out to him. But Power Nation, wash your hands, wash your butts. We love you. Until next time. Deuce.
Peace.